On this episode of Cronkite Sports Report,
the story of two brothers supporting each other from the sidelines into the surgery center.
how Ability 360 is making Arizona golf more accessible for golfers with disabilities.
The mastermind behind the Arizona State football team's top-of-the-line field design.
A 14-year-old Navajo girl with gold medal motivation and Olympic boxing aspirations.
And the $178 million renovation at the ISM Raceway. All of this coming to you right now on Cronkite Sports Report. Welcome into the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Bailey O'Carroll.
And I'm Anthony Totri. As student journalists at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, we look to bring you unique sports stories with an Arizona connection.
Brothers don't always get along, but there's a set of brothers at Brophy College Prep facing a shared challenge unlike most others.
I caught up with the Arkitsinger brothers to learn how they lean on each other in their face of extraordinary difficulty.
Brophy's Garrett and Gavin Arkitsinger grew up 2 years apart.
We're brothers, man, so we fight a lot. It's hard sometimes, but I love that kid.
It's an unbreakable bond.
The two have always been close, so much so that Gavin followed his older brother onto the Brophy football team.
I've just developed a love for the game since I scored my first touchdown. I remember the feeling. I started crying. I was like, wow, this is awesome.
His tears of childhood joy would turn to tears of misery in August. A torn ACL in his left knee ended his senior season before it ever really started, preventing him from ever scoring another high school touchdown.
As soon as I found out the information, I started crying. I couldn't hold it back. I thought my whole future with football was done with. But I tried to stay positive after that moment. My family was helping me out.
While Garrett's parents do everything they can for him, it's the strength of a brotherhood that makes it so Gavin can help Garrett through the darkness of a season-ending injury.
They've always looked out for one another. The older-younger brother relationship's always kind of has been there. And so wherever Garrett has gone, Gavin typically wants to go as a younger brother.
28 days later, Gavin would follow Garrett into his brother's nightmare. A torn ACL in Gavin's right knee effectively ended his sophomore campaign.
My brother, he's there for me, and he's going to help me get to where he's at right now and even stronger. And me and him are going to have that same recovery. But my parents and my brother have always been here for me, which really does mean a lot to me.
Yeah, I told them both that if I could take both of their knees from them and put them on mine, I would.
As much as Wendy and Lou wish they could relieve their son's pain, they can't. They couldn't do so during surgery, and they can't do so during the rehab process here at Banner Physical Therapy. However, if anything good is to come of this devastating situation, it'll be a strengthened relationship.
We already have a strong bond, but this is just going to bring us even more close, and something you can't take away from me and my brother.
I love him. Like I said, he's a big part of my life.
The two have played football their entire lives. Football is in their blood, it's in their hearts. And despite an early ending to what might be considered his most important season yet, Garrett is more than just a football player. And he knows a torn ACL doesn't mean a torn future.
I'm not so much focused on football and what my future holds. I still love football and I want to pursue it as far as I can, but I know that if it doesn't work out for me, I still have other routes to take that will lead to success in the future.
Garrett does have an offer to play college football from the University of Laverne. With that said, Gavin is in a completely different situation. Despite missing his freshman year with a broken foot and now his sophomore season with a torn ACL, Gavin knows he still has 2 seasons to earn a college scholarship.
Recovery's coming soon.
And as long as that rings true, Gavin isn't done lacing up his cleats.
No, I'm definitely not. I'm trying to make it to play college football. It's always been a dream of mine since I was a baby. I just want to really move on, see how far I can make it.
While Garrett turns his eyes to college, Gavin is on his way getting back on the field for his junior year, where he plans to make up for lost time in pursuit of that elusive college scholarship.
Shifting to the golf world, where Arizona has long been a staple.
The state boasts 387 golf courses. Scottsdale alone houses 49 of those.
Ability 360 wants to make sure everyone has access to those courses. Cronkite Sports reporter Justin Parm found out just how Ability 360 is helping golfers with disabilities tee off.
Balance, center of gravity, and impact are all essential for a good golf swing.
So the very first time I hit the ball, I crushed it. It was straight and far, and this dude just looked at me and was like, kind of like, nice work, and I just I wish every single shot could have been as good as my first one.
A good golf swing for players like Tim Sari requires more than just a good backswing and a steady grip.
I got hurt in 1988 as a car wreck is what happened. Medically what happened is I ruptured my aorta and it killed my motor and sensory nerves. I remember being in the hospital and I remember looking around, smelling all this great barbecue with my mouth wired shut, and they set me a shake, if you will. They ground up all the ribs and whatever, and put it in there and set it in front of right on my table. And right then and there, I knew if I've got to eat barbecue, drink it through a shake, I'm gonna make it.
Tim made it, but the recovery wasn't easy for someone who is used to being active.
No way, I knew it. Sure, it sucked getting hurt and being in a wheelchair. I wasn't gonna let it stop me. I was gonna just go and go and go. And that's how I got through my rehab, and that's how I go through life.
Determined to keep going, Tim started playing wheelchair sports like track and field. In a 1992 meet, Tim took second place in shot put and discus. Now he also hits the links, thanks to the stand-up and play golf cart, a piece of equipment that raises para-athletes like Tim into a standing position.
I've been playing golf for about 3 years now. The stand-up and plays were introduced about 3 years ago. Got to go out and play with my buddies, and it was fun, just hanging out, getting out there and being with your buddies again. And this one actually stands you up. You can look eye to eye. Just makes you feel real good.
While access to adaptive golf equipment has grown, buying that equipment isn't quite as easy, and it could require someone trading in their car. Considering a stand-up and play golf cart like this one could cost upwards of $35,000.
To help make the equipment more accessible, Ability 360 bought stand-up and play golf carts and single-rider golf carts. Use of both carts are included in Ability 360's monthly membership fee of $35.
When you're out on the golf course, you get it all the time. First of all, they come up and they see this machine that you're on, and they're like, what? What is that? Then they'll look and they see it standing you up. They're just like, holy moly. Then they see you hit the ball and they're just like right on. It's just kind of neat to see those people realize that, hey, you know what, just because I'm in a wheelchair, just because I've got a disability, something, I can still go out and play with the best of them.
While the stand-up and play cart enables him to play golf, he said it doesn't give him an advantage over golfers without disabilities.
Oh, come on. Just being competitive gives me a drive to go out and be better, even on a golf course, you know, play my lie or how I can get a roll onto the green, something like that.
For a lot of people, that's why they love golf. It's the challenge, whether it's playing a shot from the bunker or trying to sink a long putt.
Get in, get in, get in, get in.
Oh.
The challenge is universal. In Phoenix, Justin Parham, Cronkite Sports Report.
Coming up next on Cronkite Sports Report.
The man leaving it all on the grass at Arizona State's Sun Devil Stadium.
Plus the story of Mariah Bahi, a young girl destined to make an impact in her community and the ring.
While the on-field product at Arizona State hasn't always thrived, there's been one thing that's continued to grow: the glorious green grass on which the Sun Devils play. No easy feat in the middle of the desert.
ASU spent $300 million renovating its football stadium over the past few years. Included in the renovation costs, a new field. Not included in the renovation costs, the veterans groundskeeper, who's been taking care of it for more than a quarter of a century. It's 7 o'clock on Friday morning. The calm before the storm at Sun Devil Stadium. It's 7 o'clock on Saturday night. The storm that is ASU football is about to hit Tempe.
We arrive pretty early on game day, but we typically for an ASU night game, we'll be here till 3, 4 in the morning working on the field, putting seed out on the field after the game, walking the field by hand and picking up divots, mowing the field. I can't count how many that I've driving home during the sunrise.
Meet Brian Johnson. He's been the groundskeeper at ASU since 1984.
I did an internship here at ASU for my last semester of college, working with all the athletic fields, and then they had a full-time job open up. It's not just a field to me, like I'm walking around and treating it like it's my child.
Much like a child, the field inside of Sun Devil Stadium requires attention 7 days a week. And in the middle of the desert, one wouldn't think it would be an easy job to get grass to grow, let alone make it look nice.
Bermuda grass is actually it's a tropical grass, so monsoon season, July, August, is the ideal time for it. It's actually when it cools off that it's not as nice. So I get a lot of credit for growing grass in a desert, but it's really not that hard.
Johnson spends up to 60 hours a week creating a masterpiece of a field just to have it destroyed week after week.
That's just part of the game. Anybody can have grass looking good that doesn't get played on, but the challenge of the whole thing is having it get played on and getting chewed up.
Having his masterpiece destroyed so often doesn't encourage Johnson to take the easy way out.
We're probably the only school in the country that doesn't use a big stencil for those letters. We have it all hand drawn on graph paper, and we run strings and tape measures and paint brushes and outline our letters.
It's the same routine, just a different week for Johnson, who spends all week out here in the blistering Arizona heat getting this field ready for Manny Wilkins and company come Saturday.
We have probably one of top 3 best fields, top 5, whatever it is in the country. So, you know, I make sure I let him know how appreciative I am.
DeMario Richard was a favorite of mine, and Manny, a number of players. It's just, yeah. I'm kind of a shy guy, so the ones that kind of come out and seek me out and say, hey, nice job on the field, I kind of start following them and get to know them a little bit better. And I was just that guy at the other end of the stadium that would go out and mow the grass, but now, you know, we're eating lunch together.
Johnson is not only a groundskeeping legend right here in Arizona, but nationwide. He's painted all but one Super Bowl field in the last 21 years. That passion, dedication, and energy is what's kept Johnson at ASU for over 3 decades.
I think it's in his heart. I think he's just one of those guys that is a perfectionist and really takes pride in being one of the best. There's not a place you can go in the country and talk to people in this business and do not have a great respect for what he does. And then visiting teams when they come here, it's amazing. Teams are like excited about coming and having an opportunity to play on our surface.
5 years from now, I hope to be hiking in the Himalayas somewhere in September, not thinking about football. I love my job, and I'm going to work hard, and I'm totally focused on football and taking care of the fields while I'm here, but once I walk away, I'm just going to walk away.
Johnson may not know how much longer he'll be at it, but for at least the remainder of this season, there's no doubt he'll be working hard to make sure the field inside of Sun Devil Stadium remains one of the best in the nation. Coming up on Cronkite Sports Report,
we take you to a Navajo reservation in northern Arizona where one teen is fighting to change what it means to be a young Navajo girl.
And how a multi-million-dollar renovation may rejuvenate the racing community in Arizona.
Welcome back to Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Anthony Totri.
And I'm Bailey O'Carroll. From a young age, it was apparent that boxer Mariah Bahi was someone special.
Our Colette Stein traveled to Chinle to catch up with the 14-year-old boxer at her family gym.
A young Navajo girl, full of life, stood out among the rest with her fighting spirit. At only 7 years old, it was clear that Mariah Bahi was different than other girls her same age.
We fought. I told her, you are not going to box. You're going to be a little girl, go do cheerleading, softball, basketball or something. You're not going to box. She said, no, Daddy, I'm boxing.
It was a natural move for Mariah. Boxing is in the family business for the Bahis. 3 generations before her all stepped into the ring. She now trains at the Damon Bahi Boxing Gym in Chinle on the Navajo Reservation, named for her father's family. Mariah's father, John Bahi, helped build the gym by hand 23 years ago. John now owns and operates the facility where he coaches his daughter.
I love it because he doesn't treat me like his daughter when we're in here. He treats me like some random person that comes in here to train. And at home, it's different because he treats me like his daughter at home.
At times, coach and father can overlap.
But sometimes I can't eat what I want because he's there, and I can't just slack off because I have to constantly be working out to stay in shape.
Now 14, she is the 2018 Arizona State Olympic title holder in the intermediate female 85-pound weight class. and won a bronze at the 2018 USA Boxing National Junior Olympics. For Mariah, it's worth all of the hard work because she believes that one day it will all pay off.
I wanted to take 2 years online of college so I can be here training for the Olympics in 2024. And I want to go to the Olympics. I don't necessarily want to win, I just want to get at that stage and say I competed. And then afterwards, I want to go into the Air Force and jump on their boxing team for a couple of years, and then I want to go back to college.
Damon Bahi boxing has been around since the 1960s, when Lee Damon, the founder, found a love for the sport when he served in the Marines in World War II. Following in his grandfather's and father's footsteps, John Bahi intends to keep boxing in the family.
People are telling me that I'm keeping this going in the same way my dad did. I'm in that same category. I'm keeping it up where it should be. But with them, I know they're going to excel over what I do.
John's coaching goes beyond training boxers. He also welcomes troubled youth, teaching them life lessons through boxing.
I start my practices after they're done with their after-school activities. In other words, if they really don't have a stable home, they can come here and we can teach them some stuff. I preach drug and alcohol free. I am drug and alcohol free.
Mariah said her boxing keeps her on the straight and narrow as well. Her work ethic is contagious, motivating all that practice at her family's gym, especially the other young women.
The little girls that are in here inspire me because they look up to me, and if I do something wrong, they're gonna follow it, and they're just gonna do whatever I do. So I just want to show them that a native girl can do anything that she sets her mind to, and she can accomplish anything.
John expects to pass the family legacy down to Mariah when his days as head coach are over. He acknowledges that all of his children will do their part when it comes to making the Damon Bahi Boxing Club bigger than it has ever been before. In Chinle, Colette Stein, Cronkite Sports Report.
Still to come on Cronkite Sports Report.
The completion of a raceway renovation that brings fans closer to the action and closer to their idols than ever before. ISM Raceway is wrapping up a multi-million-dollar renovation project just in time for next month's upcoming NASCAR Cup Series semifinal playoff race.
The end goal was to bring fans closer than ever before. The Can-Am 500 NASCAR weekend is set to roar off on November 9th at the Resurrected Speedway.
Cronkite Sports reporter Ricardo Avila takes us behind the scenes and inside the new look track.
Earlier this month, El Mirage residents Sean Chandler and his wife Brooke were among a select group of race fans invited to get a sneak peek at the renovated ISM Raceway, a renovation Sean initially did not like.
We thought this was a huge mistake from the beginning. We made sure we told them that every moment we had.
But seeing the place where drivers will pop champagne and knowing you can get closer to your idols changed his mind.
We came in, we find out we can be part of Victory Lane. We can go up to the drivers, get their autographs. We can go in and see them in the garage.
1 mile of asphalt surrounds the raceway's shiny new toy, the infield. It gives fans who purchase the $129 access a chance to be part of the celebration at the new Victory Lane, and gets them into an open-air garage, under the hood, and close to the stars of the show.
Anytime the fans can get more or closer to us in you know, the work environment or in us celebrating a win is neat.
A team of about 400 people have been hard at work since January of 2017, hoping to have the renovations complete by opening weekend on November 9th.
I'm coming out of the 350-foot pedestrian walkway connecting the grandstands to the brand new infield, the crown jewel of the $178 million ISM Raceway renovation.
it's going to be really an unparalleled opportunity for fans to get up close and personal with their heroes, with the teams. The drivers are going to be able to come out and interact with the fans.
International Speedway Corporation, ISM Raceway's parent company, funded the entire project. ISC owns 13 facilities in the U.S., including Daytona International Speedway in Florida and Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama.
It's great. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. It's like rafting. When you're stagnant, the river decides where you go.
But not everyone is excited about the new changes. The grandstands were moved from the front stretch to the turns, which track officials say was done to give fans more shade during the races.
Honestly, I'm not impressed with the grandstands that they took out. They're taken away from the fans, and then they moved the start-finish line right in the middle of a turn. I've never seen that in any NASCAR venue at all.
ISC relocated the start-finish line with the hope of creating more exciting finishes, but it's also where drivers will restart after stoppages.
It just makes it awkward trying to take off, at a low RPM while turning, around the corner already. So, yeah, just make it more difficult on us.
Drivers and fans might need time to adjust to the new look ISM Raceway. The green flag drops on the Can-Am 500 semifinal race next month, and construction at the track is already wrapping up.
The only thing that is missing is to get NASCAR here and let's run a race. We're down to punch lists and a little finishing on paint and some nuts and bolts, and then everything will be finished.
Fans were last able to access ISM Raceway in April of 2018 and will be back exactly 7 months later. In Avondale, Ricardo Avila, Cronkite Sports Report.
That'll do it for this episode of Cronkite Sports Report.
From all of us here at our downtown studio, thanks for watching.